Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. Let me just start at the outset by saying I wish absolutely no one any harm. There's a difference I notice when you are about the full and complete telling of the truth and you are pro-black. You can't be about the telling of the truth, and if you're black, not be pro-black. Everything else is a lie. But that said, folks who hate us have developed a stereotype about persons who simply love what the Most High made them to be, where we're the violent ones. Goodness gracious, whoa, my goodness. I'm here to say that's so not true, but if you are pro-black, you've already realized that yourself. And when I say pro-black, now there are those, because this is a season to hate, who can say, well, but we gotta fight and do all the rest. No. You got to strategize so that we can survive in submission to the one and only. And that means not to be duped by white people, by whatever non-black people there are out there lying to us, and they're all lying to us. But what they would prefer is for us to embrace the stereotype that we're the violent ones, that we're going to go out and hurt people and all the rest of that, when, no, you've seen the Palestinians lately? I mean, even with credibility being exposed for them, and so that people can actually seem reasonable in rooting for them. I'm not part of that fight. I'm just saying that's another little trick bag they got out there, so they'll put a couple of black folks up there supporting Hitler in the final solution. What the hell? Hell no. And that's the way that then they turn the script, and so that you're back to supporting the same folks who are part of a strategic portion of all of William Casey's biggest dreams and fantasies of making everything that the American populace believes absolutely a lie. And that's what he said will let them know that their disinformation campaign has worked. And so in saying that, I emphasize I wish absolutely nobody harm. I'm going to talk an awful lot. I don't know how much about the Chinese, but this is going to be an informative share. So I entreat you to listen to the whole thing because you're going to enjoy yourself. But in exposing the truth, that doesn't mean that for me, then a truth is to go out and hurt people. No, it's nothing of the sort. I know with full examination of the facts, we could save everybody who wants to honestly be saved. Those are not the liars. Those are not the folks who are hiding what all these nuclear powered nations have done to our beautiful and only planet, which is my full force point of all of this in examining Kevin Samuels. First, my condolences to Kevin Samuels' family. I'm talking about his philosophy, which was one of avarice, greed, or one of just pontificating you are better than everybody else because you got money. And the ultimate thing is you need your health. And to be healthy, you don't need a whole lot of money, but you need to be discerning in this society that it has poisoned everything. But we'll go through that. One of the tenets of Kevin Samuels was the high value man and woman, and that all, attached itself to the idea that you can't do anything unless you're making, I think it was about, $100,000, $200,000 a year, which is so ridiculous because it was separated from any type of morality whatsoever. And you could only connect with a mate, and for him, I don't think that the sexuality was so important, but if you're in submission to Allah, he says he don't change, and thereby all this, homosexuality is the gateway perversion to all the others, because then you cease submitting to the Most High and you think it's all about love. That's some Aleister Crowley type of nonsense. There must be rules. There must be just roadmaps so that most people spend the greatest portion of their lives clueless. They need rules. And that's so that they don't enter into situations that wind up destroying the social fabric, such as women's athletics. It's on its last bended knee. And so in pushing the agenda that it's all about how much money you have, and that determines whether you are a valuable person or not, is actually a mindset that's quite global. But China is probably the biggest practitioner of that philosophy of materialism than any nation on the planet, and not because there aren't other nations vying to do the same. It's simply because China has so many resources. They've been able to become the second biggest economic power on the planet behind the United States of America, simply utilizing those resources. However, I've been fascinated once again watching what's going on in China. I was during the whole scandal-ademic thing, which they ain't make nothing in Wuhan, okay? Except for a computer algorithm. That's the cheapest type of scamdemic you could ever create, and thereby everyone keeps in their minds that somehow or another you need white people and their swill injected into your veins, and then everybody's screaming around, oh my goodness, I got this injury, I got that injury. And yeah, you can be injured by that crap because they don't give a damn. But at the same time, your real gas chamber is on your plate in the radiation. But I stopped because I was like, okay, it's going on, I don't know. And I assumed that China was going to be able to recover after everything started quieting down. And so just out of curiosity, I thought, let me check and see what's happening in China. I've been watching so many just videos going over Asian societies, and I'm so happy that I managed to find bunches of them on Asianalysis with Al and Helen. I hope they come back. I don't know. They are the best. I'm going to leave links to these channels in case you want to watch this. I cannot just go over each and every single factoid that I learned watching this stuff. But I'm like out of Dark Asia with Megan. I learned that there was a sex scandal where online, and some were conducted in the dark web, and others, yes, there were multiple ones, were conducted just out in the open. And they were passing around. One of the reasons why Asian crime rates are considered so drastically low is because they ignore most of them, especially the crimes committed against women, where they have been attacked, killed, and not a single police officer gave a damn. But with these, web crimes, they were showing videos of hundreds and hundreds of women, their wives, their children. They would assault the children, the babies. Okay? And this was something that would go global. Global? This was headquartered mostly in Korea, but there was stuff in Japan. There's a guy named Jimmy something. I can't remember his full name, but he was the one who started the whole J-pop thing. And then Korea outdid them by really practicing how to imitate Black you and me as much as possible. But it's wild. But this is the channel that I appreciate the most because I've just been studying the economics of what is happening in China. It is, I mean, I don't know how many, I've watched, like, I'm up to month 3. I mean, 3 months ago, watching these daggone things. So, yeah, and they go straight to the Chinese people to find out what the heck is going on. So you got this thing here where it is counterfeit pearls and scam brides and overcharge. I mean, they got so many scams going on. I'm like, that's one of my points too. When it comes to Nigeria, you know how they put down Nigeria? Nigeria, you about to get faked out by Harry and Meghan, okay? And I'm not talking about the Asian Meghan. I'm talking about the friggin' super scamstress who she love Africa. She love Nigeria, but we have never seen her black family members, not a hide nor hair, since she married that bald-headed red dude, okay? And so they need to stop painting you guys as the worst people on the planet, but that's what white Western media does. Anybody who is brown skin, especially black skin, okay? Because in China, they got scam systems. The entire society is built on scamming. But let me go to the lower points first. They've got folks who will tag team whole companies, hire actors to pretend that they're their clients, and they'll just collect a salary, pretending that they're doing something and they're not doing anything but trying to find the next company that they're going to go to an interview for and show how effective they are by showing the companies that they do work for, 1 or 2, and their lying statistics. And then they're going to just, take over get the job on the next interview. If they can. Right now, China's in a free fall economically. There's whole streets, whole regions where there's nobody buying a daggone thing. Their real estate bubble that popped, which was just a giant Ponzi scheme based off of Evergrande and Country Garden. You want some cheap, really, really stunning property? Go to China if you can handle the censorship and the tyranny. As I say, I'm rooting for all sentient, truthful beings. I hope the Chinese could pull it together. They look like they used to, maybe. I really doubt they were ever perfect. But at the same time, they had a better society than they do right now. Because as time has gone on, the people who really rob and steal have honed to a perfection how to do it. Right? They've outdone the mafia. So in China, they've, through the school system, taught everybody to be about high value. And so you think that having money is the same equivalent thing as having morals, which gets me back to saying that China's population is on such a decline. They predict that by 2050, they may just run out of young folk and it'll be nothing but a bunch of old people that nobody has the money to take care of because they're so into money and they're falling for the same nonsense that they're trying to push to the American population. Out of control inflation. It now takes at least $177,798 for a family of 4 to live comfortably in the U.S. What kind of comfortable are you talking about? What, you can't live without $200,000 a year's worth of comfort? Where you living? This is some scared white people who they dare not. In their minds, they've been programmed to be terrified of poverty so much that for them, comfort is simply based on the Joneses envying them. That's all it's about. And in China, where they've been talked away from dealing with anything on a moral basis, they're all into this scamming and these all this nonsense at the same time that they're like, no, we're not going to have any babies. Remember, they're supposed to be the most intelligent demographic group of people on the planet, Asians. Every single one of their countries is on a beeline fall into non-existence because they're so smart. They think that actually it is intelligent to volunteer to exterminate themselves because they have this notion of being separated from their society. So they've developed this phenomena they call lying flat, where they refuse to do anything. And because to them, children are just a giant bill based on following China's very narrow, high value concepts of what you're supposed to do in raising a child. They just sort of erase the whole notion of loving your children, being there for your children, not using your children so you can further show off to your neighbors or your children or your retirement plan, so that Chinese children literally, they have no retirement savings, social security system or welfare system. Your children are it. And so they're just like, sort of, it sounds like slavery to me. I'm just saying, where you're born and ta-da, you got a bill already. And so for them, children are not just a pure joy. Yeah, it's work, but people who are in every type of situation have been having babies forever. The Sentinelese are probably, we all recognize as the smartest people on the planet because they know better than to have foreigners come up on their island. They don't have any of the stuff that the rest of modern world swears makes you a high value person. But they've got the best value of all. They don't have any foreigners in their territories destroying their society. And so the Chinese over push your children to the point where they have no childhood whatsoever. Have you seen my childhood? They have no childhood whatsoever because they have to go to school constantly. It's not even enough that part of their idea of wealth is you have to be able to afford all these fancy kindergartens. And now all these kindergartens, like, what is it, Gymboree or something, they're all going out of business because there's no more children being born to pay their rent. And so they just shut them down for the children that are left. Well, they, over the generations, have just increased the amount that they feel is necessary, not to have a comfortable life, but not to be shamed, not to be seen as poor, when, I'm sorry, there's greater concerns in life that your greed is ignoring, because unless you get your information from those respected resources way up at the tippy top of society that are slowly killing you, then you're like, oh no, it can't be credible. When I saw, this was like from 2022, they were testing the seafood for the scamdemic, and seafood doesn't have respiratory organs. They don't have lungs. They don't get, whatever the heck the thing was called. Okay? They don't get that, but there they are. Why? Because of this map right here that they changed so that when it finally does upload, which for a little short time when I was reporting on the International Atomic Energy Agency, it wouldn't upload at all. I don't know if you can see these little yellow dots. Let me maximize the screen more so you have a chance of seeing them. they were quite dramatic when they came in. And as I said, for a little while, they just denied me any access. But probably that looked strange, because even if we sort of like the Chinese that think that, well, but she didn't come from Harvard. There was even that white troll on one of my lives who had the nerve to say, well, are you a nuclear physicist? No, I am a sentient being capable of thought. You mean to tell me that you'll only listen to people who are trained and programmed and brainwashed by these higher institutions? You're only going to listen to them when they're the ones who have every single freaking reason to lie, because they believe such stupid crap as you need $200,000 friggin' dollars in order to just give an infant breast milk, to give them love, to play with them using your imagination, so that you will have a better quality human being than if you just send them off to a nanny. You got to put a dozen nanny cams all over the place to make sure your child is alive when you get back home from your fancy job. Right? You will have a far better human being with like 1/20th of this money right here. Right? I'm not saying you shouldn't be prepared financially, but there's plenty of people moving off the grid. And they got children, okay? And they're doing just fine. They homeschool them, read them books. That's how I learned that I was capable of writing books, by doing all these imaginative stories with our son. Yeah, I ain't need any money for that. So anybody who... I've read so many books about radiation written by nuclear physicists who were also banned on purpose. So there's so many scams. This one right here, the Chinese government is communist, so there's different industries they own where, because they're in economic free fall because of the property just collapse, they're looking for money because they got most of their taxes from the sale of real estate. That's what helped push the Ponzi scheme of it all. And after a while, these loans that these giant, real estate companies were getting were becoming way too fragile. So they were downgraded. Moody's and all the rest of them doggone things said, no, this has become worthless junk stock. We can't promote, getting stock in Evergrande anymore. And so the whole thing started falling to pieces. And then with COVID, they didn't try to re-infuse the population with any money. The bureaucrats were all about just let me get mine. And so this was one of the ways that they were trying to get theirs, is that they told everybody, oh, you get new meters, get the smart meters. For all the dumb people. I'm not trying to make fun. I'm just having fun. Okay, there's a difference. But these meters, suddenly all of China was like using like 25% more electricity. That number, okay. But I'm just saying is that for every single 1 amp of electricity they would have used, suddenly they were using 1.5, 2 amps. The meters would keep reading and counting them as using electricity, even if they turned every single light and electrical source out in the home. And this was sanctioned by the Chinese government, a whole nation of high value citizens. One to the other, so you wind up in a society that does not give a freaking damn about itself. China has gotten so bad, that is also one of the things that, whereas I thought, oh, China's going to be taking the United States over, it looks like they may not. Because white people don't want to die either, and they certainly don't want to be poor. So China in Europe, they have shipping yards where there are tens of thousands of unsold Chinese EVs, electric vehicles, piled up. And they're going nowhere. There's no buyers for them because they're made with such shoddy construction and parts. That's the way of China is to get away with whatever they can. They don't give a friggin' fart. And because of that, these European countries and the United States had to do something. They couldn't just sit there because a lot of U.S. industries, in my assessment, especially social media, forget about TikTok. They're already taken over by China. But if you've got all these products that have been overproduced in China, and they know that their people, they're impoverishing their own people, they ain't gonna buy the crap. They're gonna try to ship it overseas. And overseas, there are white people who are like, oh, no, you're not. No. Because China is just got too greedy. They were just like, our ascendance is the West's decline. They just were so sure of themselves. And you know what? I'm not quite sure that they will lose in the end either, because Fukushima is for real. That's what makes me know don't trust the West. Don't look just because you think, oh, well, there's more people who care in the West. No, they don't. They don't care about black you and me. Because I already highlighted that they are shipping free salmon to women and the children. Social welfare dependent women and their children. Free salmon when salmon prices are soaring, when the numbers of salmon are collapsing because they're no more, right? It wasn't the jab that got the salmon, it's the radiation. And here's more proof, because it's not just the wild salmon. If the waters are that contaminated, then reaction is no longer enough. Farm salmon mortality up 11% during the first quarter. And a quote from whomever this woman is, we do not see any new specific reasons for fish dying. Duh. Right? Is she that damn stupid? No, she probably knows. I'm not saying whether she does or she doesn't, but people will smile in your face and all they want to do is take your place to backstab us, okay? I mean, have you seen this portrait of King Charles? I mean, this sucker's creepy as hell. And it's got endangered monarch butterfly. Now, I know, the endangered monarch, as in king, is their endangered whiteism. However, on top of that, what's the monarch butterfly endangered by? All the poisons, but really man-made radiation. Man-made radiation. Because it's everywhere. And it's been here. Fukushima has only been an aberration. And here's Japan all the way up in here. And there's so many. Look at how many samples they got just in one area. 32,224. Fukushima's just been such an aberration that many people got to pay attention to a subject matter that on purpose they've made sure we ignore, or we think it's just all a bunch of comic book nonsense. So that's why when I see this portrait, I know it's just this one. It's a portrait of Dorian Gray. It's really pretty much the same damn thing right here. And that's how I also recognize that I was wrong when it comes to Michelle Obama's dress right here. These two portraits are, this is such a quiff thing going on. This is such an emasculated thing going on here where you're being sucked up by the flora and fauna because basically they see you as an animal. And you're a man and you're sitting down in a chair. No. official state portraits. You're standing, you're at attention, you are ready to defend. This guy is just ready to be buried. But when you look at Michelle, who's the only person in this pair who is an authentic black person, even though she's been brainwashed out of her mind, so that she knew when she married him, she was marrying a switch hitter. She knew that. Okay? That's what her purpose was. That's why she was working with Jesse Jackson. But right here, this is radiation. This is what they mean for us. This is a Consumer Reports article put out by the Nuclear Regulatory, the United States. You see the seal, the seal. This is U.S. government, United States Nuclear Regulatory Commission. It was written in 1978. 1978. They know. And it goes through radioactivity in so many different products. They understand exactly what that crap does, and you don't need the blistering amount for it to do anything. And so when you see different things going on, that we're, like any people, we're going to concentrate on what's going on with Black Us, because that's the most just relevant to what we live as people. But we have been trained out of our own daggone minds to then make assumptions that we're the worst people on the planet. Oh my goodness, we have no unity, so we could never work together. They'll just forget it, give up. There's no culture. There's no black this. There's, whatever the heck. That's a bunch of BS. Okay? I'm not saying those people don't authentically mean that, but we have been trained to see the worst in each other. So we believe that materialism somehow or another is going to save us, and it ain't saving China. This one was like, whoa, where you have all of these influencer beauties. They will go to different places that are supposed to be actually spiritual. Like they got the Buddha beauties who run on up the stairs of a Buddhist temple, and they'll, it's like out of a movie or something, and it's all fake. It's all fake. And then they have even hospital bedside, whatever beauties that they call these, where they're not really sick. We know there's bunches of them over here. I'm just saying, I need to highlight this one right here. This was mad wild. Prada opened up a supermarket. Prada is the devil wears Prada. They mean that. That's not a joke. But they opened up this market, and it was unprecedented that it was the first one ever open like this, where they wrapped the food that you were buying in paper that said Prada on it. Vegetables and the fruit, it would all say Prada. And so these beauty, they were called the market beauties. They started showing up, buying this stuff. And people would, they couldn't wrap for whatever reason. They couldn't wrap the meat and the seafood. And Chinese people love their meat and their seafood, especially the pig. They love that pig. And the folks would just buy the vegetables and would not touch the seafood or the meat because it didn't come in the Prada label. So they would literally go outside with their little Prada bags, show that off, and then later on empty out all the vegetables, throw them in the garbage, because all they wanted was to be seen with the Prada label. That's now, I have never seen anything of the like that would be capable of taking place amongst us, amongst Black us. Okay? If we weren't a thorn in Satan's behind, trust and believe, this painting right here, well, it's starting to bring it out. They're starting to bring it out. And they hope their little butterflies, their little agents, will be able to, because like everybody wearing red right now. Everybody. Right? That's because they want to push it to the next level, because they know during bloodshed and war, people can't pay attention to their day-to-day lives. They can't build to the next level. Like Dr. She did shared a bit the what happened at Eurovision. I don't even want to click on it. It was that satanic dance that was going around. And then I was in shock because I saw a Zero Hedge. They actually have the nerve to swear that to destroy wokery, to destroy this left's friggin' Weimar Germany, Sin City Berlin nonsense, that they need to embrace Western values. That is your value. Where do you see a black leader? Even Obama, his portrait has to make him look like he's ready to put on a tutu and dance for you. This one looks like you had better be defending yourself. Otherwise, you are in the midst of trouble. Where you see anybody else doing this stuff, right? Even Xi Jinping, whatever. I don't know exactly if that's how you pronounce his name. I mean, no insult or whatever. I'm just saying, the truth will set everybody free. But this nonsense here, this worship of everything Western, is so that you don't hear my warning. Oh, my goodness gracious. Sister Gwen B is an amazing woman. I'm saying that for real because of her actions, not because I'm desperate for friendship or something like that, even though I wish she lived next door. That's all I could say. This sister does that research. She is honest like nobody's business. Okay? She reviews my books and she just tells the truth. She is not going to flatter me. Right? So she ordered some soap just recently, which was just wonderful. She's ordered plenty of my products before, but she put in a very wonderful big order this time. And I want to read what she said because the sister knows what time it is. Thank you for your soap. It is absolutely wonderful. Love it. The face cream is wonderful too. By the way, I think you should raise the prices on your soap. It's a high-grade soap. The bar size and quality make it a high-end type product. $3 for 30 is fair. The face cream is a good price as is. It has antiseptic qualities. I can smell them. It's like a healing moisturizer. Our pores are supple without becoming oily. The skin stays clean, clear, and moist all day long. Very, very nice. Oh, and the packaging altogether, wow, what an elegant aesthetic. I was blown away. Such a nice presentation. I am going to save your note too. I can't stop smiling. Wow. I mean, that touches my heart. And I want to move on because I could get real into my verklemtedness. Reading this, I know she ain't telling no fibs because that's how I put my product together, because I love you, because I do my best to submit to the one and only. So when I put my products together, you don't have to worry about it being a scam. And you could tell by my actions, by my deeds, where I'm sharing the same stuff I always shared, even though they took away my big giant channel. So that you can know we ain't falling apart. We are the rescue we seek. I mean, all of us, not just me, but definitely if I'm the only one going to warn you about the radiation that's in your food and that the FDA is allowing in straight from Fukushima with no alerts whatsoever. They're going to test it, but they're going to only tell a select few. Just like I found out that they're shipping salmon to the poor when the prices of salmon are going through the roof. How you gonna give salmon away for free? Unless it's because it's radioactive and you're gonna give it to the poor people. Okay? So if I'm talking against China, I'm talking against the West. If you're not gonna bring the whole truth, you are always on the wrong side of the Joneses fence. You up there with all them folk sitting back saying, well, aren't we so much better because we know how to kill people? I can't say it the way that they won't let you say it anymore. We can't unalive people. And they, we can unalive people and they won't find out about it. Because that's what Rosalie Bertell, a nuclear physicist, said is the reason why they feel they could get away with this stuff. If we make it our culture not to support one another, if we make it our culture to keep racing after these friggin' rich men who can't get through the gates of heaven without more difficulty than a camel getting through the eye of a needle, even envying those rich people is going to get you in trouble. And then they feel like, oh, well, fooled you. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Go on over the 25,000 year cycle and support your soldiers and find healing. Now, this ain't just about me. Okay? Go where your heart and soul know. I'm home. All right? All right. I love your family. Straight black pride put together with sane, long-term achievements in family, in friends, in community is our forever. Peace and blessings.